It's October, it's Halloween, and it's release day. And I'm excited to have you all with me. So why don't we dive in for this month's spooky, what's new in Neos in 19 minutes? And we have a lot to cover. So I'm going to dive in and I'm going to move fast today. So welcome, everybody. We have got, oh man, look at that attendee list. We had 90 people registered for today's webinar, which is far and away more than we've ever had. So keep coming in, keep checking in with us. I'm happy to have you all here. And you guys should see Neos. All right, move a couple windows around and we'll get moving. As with every release, we're going to start with the support portal. So if you click your question mark here, it's going to open up your support portal with all of this great stuff, including the knowledge base, the learning hub. But what we're looking for is what's new. You can access it here or in the pop-out. We have the change log, and then we have the October release. So let's click that page, and it's going to give you a rundown of all the cool stuff associated with this month's release, starting with a full integration with MailChimp. I'm really excited about this one. So for those of you that aren't familiar, MailChimp is a mass emailing program, and it's one of the best out there. So it gives you the ability to send large numbers of emails and track all sorts of metrics associated with them. And if you ever wanted to use that previously, you'd have to figure out how to get your data into MailChimp. No longer, it's built into Neos. So let's clean up my tabs here. Go back to Neos. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between environments today. Let's use this environment for this. Now, first thing you need to do is your Neos administrator is going to go to Settings, all the way down to Integrations, and then all the way down. You can see all these, there's so much cool stuff here. If you don't get it, if you haven't had a chance, definitely come here and check this out. But today we're looking for MailChimp. So when your Neos administrator comes here, read this information. It's important. I'm not going to stand here and read it to you, but it's a good breakdown of exactly what the integration is and how it functions. When you come here for the first time, it will probably look more like this. You want to set up MailChimp. You click that button. It's going to say, could you log into MailChimp, please? Yes, I will. And then MailChimp and Neos kind of say, all right, are you sure you want to connect these two programs? Again, read everything. And then when you're ready, click allow. And then everything is connected. You do have a couple of settings options. If we come in here, these are the MailChimp sync settings. And basically what this is we're going to be sending contacts back and forth with MailChimp, right? Well, what information would you like about that contact to be passed back and forth? So we want the parties and the providers, meaning just like, you know, their names, their contact information, but you can also send over party roles, provider roles, and what case types they're associated with so that you can target them if you like. I'm going to stick with this for now. And now let's look at how to utilize this integration. So we need to go back to settings and up to mailing lists. This is where you create your mailing lists. I'm sure your firm already has a number of these for holiday cards, birthday cards, and the like. You can create a new mailing list. I've already created one here called Heroes. When you create one for the MailChimp integration, you have to select the type of managed. That is required. Otherwise, it won't sync over. This is a way for you to say what gets shared and what doesn't. So is this a Neos list or is this a managed list? Meaning it's, you know, going to be integrating with something else. So we have our heroes list. And as you can see, I've got my Bruce Banner. I've got my Peter Parker. I can add people here, or I can add them from their party screen in their case. But to keep it simple, I'm going to add somebody here. So let's find Mr. Barton, Clint, select. Then we can select an address and an email address. In case there's more than one, you get to choose and save. And so now I'm going to clean this up a little bit here. I only want those two things. So now I have 3 people in my heroes mailing list And here are their email addresses. I got my Bruce, Clint, and Peter. Now here's where things get interesting. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the MailChimp. Okay, so this is what MailChimp looks like. There are different levels of MailChimp accounts. We strongly recommend getting a paid MailChimp account. It's cheap. It starts at like $10.99 a month or something along those lines. The free one will technically work, but I won't bother you with the details. Not well. You want a paid account so that you can create multiple segments. So this is what MailChimp looks like. And here are all of the things that synced over. But here's where things get cool. Because I associated with a specific mailing list, I've got all these tags. So as you can see, some people are associated with auto accidents or birth injury, or they're listed as plaintiffs, all kinds of options. But I am going to filter by a particular tag. I only want to see my heroes. And there they are. Clint Barton, Peter Parker, Bruce Banner. And as you can see, I just did that over here, and it's already here in MailChimp waiting for me. So it's super fast. This gives you the ability to create mailing lists and then target specific clients, providers, anything that you want in your database, and send out these big mass emails in a really organized, easy to use fashion. So I also recommend checking out MailChimp's support materials so you can learn more about the MailChimp program. I can help you out with the Neo side of things, but on the MailChimp side, take a look at what they have available for you. And there's all kinds of cool information and learning and support materials here as well, so that once your information is in MailChimp, you can really take advantage. All right, so that'll do it for MailChimp. Just checking my questions here. Let's go back to our release list. So next on the list is bulk invoicing. This is pretty cool. It makes it a lot easier to send out a large number of invoices across multiple cases all at once, so you don't have to go line item by line item by line item. So I'm going to do this in our QA environment. This is an accounting feature. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to accounting. And then we have these different tabs here for my accountants and QuickBooks users among us. Checks, deposits, names, invoices is what we're looking for today. And what these are, this is a list of all of our current invoices, but we need some more because we've been very busy. So we're going to click Generate Invoices. And what it's going to do is it's going to search your Neo system for outstanding value items that have not been billed yet. So it's going to search all your cases, find all those items that are billable based on the value code type, and then provide this list to you here. And we can search this list, we can change date range, we can focus on fees, costs, both. But what I'm looking for is my specific item. So I want things where the primary staff is Brian Billig, and there's my list. I can select all, or just which ones I want to invoice for. So let's go ahead and generate these 4 invoices for Janie, John, Star, and Stephen. Generate, and there they are. Janie, John, Star, and Stephen. That quickly, those value items have now been turned into invoices and added to my invoices tab inside of accounting. So it's going to make it a lot easier for my financial gurus to go find what needs to be billed, create those invoices, send those invoices out, and get paid. All right, we're doing good on time. We are at 1:11, but we've got more to cover. So let's keep going. Next on the list, after bulk invoicing, single sign-on. So this is a big deal, especially for our medium and large size law firms. So when you logged in this morning, you might have seen this logo at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and log out and log back in so you can see it. So right here, sign in with Microsoft. So you probably see buttons like this all over the web whenever you're logging into something or buying something. They say, sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook. Well, we are on the Microsoft platform. Everything that we do is associated with Microsoft Azure and OneDrive and 365. So this was a natural progression that if you don't want to log in using your Neos, staff information, you can sign in with your Microsoft information because those two things are inextricably linked together, which brings me to my next piece of advice. Make sure that those two things are inextricably linked together. Got to type my own name, right? Okay, so if I go back in here and I go to settings and I go to staff profiles, and we're going to go down to Brian, you need to make sure that this information here is in there properly. Now, 99% of you will have this already because it's so important for accessing files and a variety of other needs. But this new feature, being able to log in with your Microsoft login, is the first step of a larger security feature that we're moving towards. And that is the ability for firm administrators, especially my CIOs, my security experts, to require the use of the Microsoft login as opposed to the Neos login, which gives them all sorts of controls that are available from the Microsoft environment. But before you do that, now is the time to make sure that your email address, that your Microsoft 365 account is properly connected and associated with your Neos account. That way, if your firm decides to require Microsoft single sign-on, your account is in good shape. And then when you log in with Microsoft, you'll be brought right into Neos. All right, let's keep rolling. All right, next on the list, settlement tab for values. As you can see, we've been making lots of financial improvements because the financial area of a case can sometimes be the most complicated. And we're looking for ways to make your jobs easier and easier and easier. So let's go back into our system here. And I'm in my staging environment. So let's open up our Barton case. That's an intake. It was Pim. I was going with Ant-Man instead of Hawkeye. So nerdy, Brian. Why? All right. So if we go down to our value tab, I've got a small number of value entries here. I've got my case expenses. I've got a couple of attorney fees. And as you guys know, we've added these tabs for navigation. So I can go into my invoices and funds, but the new one here is settlement. If I have a settlement come in on my case, this tab is going to be super helpful for me. But at the moment, I don't have any settlements. You can go to value. You can add a value entry manually. But if we go to settlement and it's blank and we have a settlement offer, we can also click this button. So this is going to be with our plaintiff from our insurance company. Let's say the amount is a nice $100,000 settlement. It automatically chooses the value code for us, save. All right, I'm going to come back to this in a second, but I want to show you the value tab that created our settlement value entry. So that's in here. And this is the new settlement tab. And it's basically a way to help you keep track of all the money that went out against all the money that's coming back in. So first, we have our disbursements. So far, we haven't dispersed anything, but now with that settlement, we have a $100,000 pool to work from. And then we have a breakdown of all of our expenses. So we have our attorney's fees due to firm, due to others, and then due to the client, which we haven't done yet. So all of these can actually be broken down. I only have one of each, but if you had multiples, you will likely have multiples. You click these drop-down arrows. If you want to add more, you click the plus button. You can create a value entry right there. You're ready to rock. It's going to add to the list. It's going to automatically do the calculations for you, and you'll be in good shape. And then when we're ready, we can do a disbursement. So let's say we're dispersing to the client. This is a client disbursement for 66 for our 2/3 number. We'll just choose that and save. And now our disbursement is in the system as well. Very cool. All right. The next thing I want to show you, I'm going to stay right here. We'll jump. I'll show this list here real quick. Improvements to the value detail screen and value notes. This is pretty cool. So if we have a value entry with notes, I'll go ahead and open this one up. And we have the ability to add notes here. So let's say we'll just do this one. This is a value note. So as our longtime Neos product users are familiar, you can create these notes associated with a specific value item. But then in order to see the note, you've got to go into that specific value item. No more, I say. If we go over to notes, we have, because I showed you guys this last month, we've got these different categories of notes. So you have your general notes, your emails, your phone calls, your text messages, and now your value notes. So this note has been duplicated between the value screen and the notes tab. So we can open it up, we can take a look, and any modifications made here or in the value tab, it's a single item that's being displayed in both places. So it always stays synchronized, right? Not the right word, but it always stays the same, so that any of the value notes that you enter in the value notes tab are available across all the different value entries here in the notes tab, and vice versa. All right. So I really like that one. Case calendar. We've made some changes to help with linked items in Outlook. So if you have anything that's unlinked, it's an easy way to see that they're unlinked, and then you can rectify that. Value tab, provider info. Oh man, I'm at 119. I knew I wasn't going to make it this much. There's so much cool stuff. So note topics we've covered. The provider detail screen. If you go into providers, there's kind of a new layout and details there that lets you see a lot more in one place without having to go hunting for it. And there's one more thing I need to tell you guys today. All of this cool new stuff came out this morning. I'm super excited about the MailChimp integration. A few of our firms have reported to us that they're having a challenge in calendar. That resolution is already in place. So many of you probably saw this pop up, but I just want to show this to you in case you haven't seen it. You're going to see this pop up today. Because in order to take care of those small number of firms and get their calendars back in good shape, we're going to push out a fresh update. We usually do this in the middle of the night, but we need to make sure that these firms are in good shape. So we're going to do it at 2:30 Eastern today. That's just over an hour. So make sure you save your work. Neos will go down a couple minutes. I mean, literally, go get yourself some coffee or steal some of that early Halloween candy. Come on back to your desk. You'll be back up and running. You may need to log back in, but we didn't want that to be a surprise. Okay, that is my list for today. Let me see. I do have one question. If you add a settlement amount, will it automatically update the negotiation tab too? That's a good question, Donna. I'll have to take a look at that and I will get that answer for you. It does create the settlement value item. But if you had to create a negotiation item manually previously, that's still the same. All right, that'll do it. I went 2 minutes over this month. I apologize, but we had so much cool stuff to cover. So thank you. As always, happy October. Everybody have a wonderful Halloween. Steal all the best candy from your kids. And I'll see you guys next month. Have a good one.